Me
About,
too. About
yes. What,
sorry
Nazanin?
about the paragraphs. Should we do? Is it for our homework about the paragraph?
Um, the, are we, I'm talking about the quiz for 1,000 Splendid Suns. Do you
Okay,
guys
so
see,
about
do you
that
see the,
one that you
not the one you just did, the one that is just came, the second one that came to you?
yes, teacher, we can see that.
Okay. So let's give me your attention, everybody, because I'm gonna just try and do this once here. And then you can go back. So chapter 5 was pretty traumatic. Did people feel that way? Poor Miriam, right? Did everybody read chapter 5? Yes. Okay. Okay, so for Miriam's birthday, all she wanted was to be able to go to the theater with her half siblings, right? To see Pinocchio. Does anybody know the story of Pinocchio? Somebody?
Yes,
Yes.
teacher, we know.
You know the
We know
story
that.
of Pinocchio? Okay. So,
Yeah.
do you guys know the story of Pinocchio? Some people in our class here don't know Pinocchio. So Pinocchio is a Disney movie, you know, Walt Disney. If you live in California, you have to know Walt Disney. So the story of Pinocchio is about a toy maker who makes a toy boy. Yes, and then the boy, all he wants is to be alive, right? But also that his nose grows when he
Yeah.
lies. Yeah. Okay. So when I ask what's a symbol? A symbol in literature is something that represents something larger, right? And there's no author that ever randomly makes a choice about something. There's always a specific reason why an author chooses a particular thing to write about. So clearly, Khaled Hosseini chose the film Pinocchio. One, it helps with our setting because that would have been when it first came out, would have been in the 1960s. Okay, so that's kind of an interesting note. But also, why do you think he chose the film Pinocchio? What do you think that represents if you look at Miriam's life?
Pinocchio is like the wood.
The wood doll, yeah, the wood doll that wants to turn into a little boy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why might he choose Pinocchio? But she is not, okay, that she is not Jalil's only child, but Pinocchio is the only child of the toy maker. Okay. Why else?
Jailed himself.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he wants freedom, right? Because he's stuck in a wooden body and he wants to become real. So I would agree that one possibility is that Miriam wants a life that is outside of her kolba, right? And she wants to live with Jalil. So it's a similar concept that Pinocchio feels trapped, and so does Miriam, right? I also think we could look at the lying concept. What did we discover about Jalil that maybe Nana was right about? Was he always telling Miriam the truth? No. No, and that's what she discovered, right? When she went to his house, and was he at the house? Did you guys catch that? Somebody was looking
Yes.
through the curtain.
Oh,
Oh, that was
yes, teacher,
Jalil.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
That's
Jalil
true.
looking through the curtain, and she saw him, and he wouldn't let her into the house, right? Or actually, it's probably more his wives wouldn't let her into the house. Yeah. So that's when she realized, and then she slept outside. He let her sleep outside all night. One of my favorite characters in the book is actually the chauffeur, right? So the driver, Jalil's driver, who then took her back, right? I think he was very kind. Um, and then he took her back, and what did she discover when she got back to her kolba?
Her father.
Her mother. Yeah, and what had happened to her mother? She killed
Her
herself.
mother somehow killed himself.
Yes, she
herself,
hung
yeah.
herself. And the driver tried to prevent Miriam from seeing her mother hanging there, right? But he wasn't quite quick enough to do it. So in one day, Miriam lost everything, right? She realized that she didn't have the father she thought she had and the potential family that she thought she could have, right? That he would accept her. And then she goes back and her mother has died, right? Not a great day. Not a good birthday. Nope. Bad birthday. Okay. So so one of the other things I think about Pinocchio is that revelation that, you know, kind of the life she was expecting to have didn't turn out to be, you know, what she had hoped it would be. And she had believed Jalil all that time, right? That he cared for her and loved her. And I think he does, but he's prevented by the judgment of society, right? As especially as a leader in the community. So poor Miriam. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this part of the book? It's a little bit sad. I'd like to say it gets happier, but not yet. Okay. Okay. So when you
So-
have finished, yes, somebody has a question.
Teacher, can you explain a reason that's about the Pinocchio? What is your interpretation from that film? That, for example, on that film says that bad people change it to some animals, yeah, and
Oh, yes.
there was a man that he had not a son. So, what is your interpretation from that film?
Well, I mean, I think that's something you could go into too. You know, I I think Pinocchio is it's a symbol that you can make of what you remember from the film and how you want to interpret it. But it's one of many symbols that you will encounter in the book. So, you know, it's that's something that if you want to add that, you're welcome to do so. You know, there's no wrong answer about it. It's how deeply you want to go into it, is up to you. How much you want to interpret the film. Okay, anybody else have any questions? No? Yeah. Okay. Poor Miriam. All right. I'm gonna stop recording. You guys can finish your vocabulary and you can start on that quiz. Oh, we have to change the clock here. And then if you have questions as you're working, please, you can either speak up and ask, or you can send me a chat too, depending on how your Wi-Fi goes.